In the quiet county of Kent in southern England stands a silent, grey building. No signs, no windows, only high walls and cameras watching every grain of sand. This is the Securitas depot. Behind these walls there are no ordinary goods, but tons of the paper that rules the world. Cash. On any given night, £250 million British pounds sleeps inside this fortress. It was thought to be impenetrable until the dawn of February 22, 2006. On that day, the world learned that human intelligence and cruelty know no bounds. Today, we tell the story of the largest cash robbery in British history, the $100 million heist. The story begins hours before the heist. The manager, Colin Dixon, leaves work, heading home. On the road, blue lights flash behind him, a police patrol. As a law-abiding citizen, Colin pulls over. An officer in full uniform approaches, asking him to step out for a speeding violation. But the moment he enters the patrol car, the law vanishes, and a gun appears. "We are not the police, and your family is now in our hands." The blood froze in Colin's veins. This wasn't just a robbery, it was an organized kidnapping. At that same moment, other gang members were knocking on his front door, tricking his wife Lynn into believing Colin had been in an accident. They took her and their young son to a remote farm, where they faced a choice: death or cooperation. 1 a.m. A car stops at the depot gates. Two men step out: Colin, the manager, and a man dressed as a British police officer. Colin's heart is heavy with fear for his son, held captive in the gang's van just behind them. He swipes his security card, the gates open, and he enters with the fake officer. The security guard inside suspected nothing. After all, who would doubt the manager and a man of the law? In the blink of an eye, the thieves seized the control room. A large truck rolled in, and 6 masked men, armed to the teeth, emerged. They didn't scream, they didn't fire a single shot. They moved with terrifying military precision. The thieves rounded up the night shift staff. Colin, the manager turned hostage assistant, kept the staff calm. Cooperate. Don't try to be heroes. The gang had a precise map of the facility, as if they had built it themselves. They began loading cages of cash, but there was a problem. The cages were too heavy. In a moment of pure irony, one of the employees, out of fear and a desperate wish for the nightmare to end, volunteered to teach the thieves how to use the forklift. The victims were literally helping the perpetrators move their loot. 85 minutes later, the truck was filled to the brim with £53 million. They couldn't take any more, simply because there was no more room. Before fleeing, the leader did something strange. He thanked the staff and gave a slight bow. Then, he locked them all, including the manager's family, inside the empty steel cash cages. The gang vanished, and silence fell. But in the midst of despair, a hero emerged, one no taller than 3 feet. Colin's young son, thanks to his tiny size, managed to slip through the bars of the cage. He reached the keys and freed his father and the rest of the hostages. When the police arrived, Detective Andy asked, "How much did they take? £1 million?" When he heard the real figure, he froze. £53 million, equivalent to $100 million at the time. The police announced a reward of £2 million for information, the largest in history. The phones began to ring, and the threads of Britain's biggest case began to unravel. But the question remained: how did these thieves know every single weakness in this fortress? That is what we will find out in the next part.